If you do a Google image search for Bitmoji classrooms, you'll see a ton of these cute little virtual classroom spaces that teachers are creating to add some personality and often some functionality to their online classes. Many of the tutorials you'll see are going to use Google Slides to create these so that the links could be clickable. I'm going to use Google Drawing, and I'll show you why. And I'm also going to change the typical proportions. This is a typical Google Slides background. So in Schoology, I want a little virtual classroom, and I do want these links to be clickable, but I don't want to have to update this too often, not that I can't. So I'm actually going to use Google Drawing just because it doesn't have the Google Slides controls. If I scroll down to the bottom of my demo class here, you can see I have a very similar one that I created with Google Slides, but you have the Slides toolbar here. There are ways to adjust your embed code to fix it, but if you use Google Drawing, you don't have to really do any of that. I also made mine a little bit more like a banner size instead of a Google Slide size, so it didn't take up so much room on the screen. And because if you're using Google Classroom and you want it to be like your class banner, you can. In that case, though, the links aren't going to work. So here is that finished Bitmoji classroom drawing. Let me walk through the process of how I set it up. It even has my dog there. I'll show you how I did that. So I'm going to head over to Google Drive, or I could do this from the existing drawing. There's the picture of the dog I'm going to use. And just head over to New, go to More, and choose a Google Drawing. Again, this looks kind of like a Google Slide layout. So if you can customize this to be whatever kind of layout you want. That's more banner than slide. I went into File, Page Setup, and I did a custom setup of 16 by 4 inches because that ended up being pretty darn close to what I wanted it to be in terms of like a banner size. There's no exact science here. This is what I'm going to go with, but yours could be whatever you like. And the next thing you need to do is to build in your background. This is what's going to take the longest, especially because I changed the proportions of this, so not a whole lot of backgrounds are always going to be this work for this long skinny format. So I'm going to use the insert image icon. I will choose the option to search the web. The search term I had pretty decent luck with was wall floor background. Sometimes I just put in wall floor. So I can click and drag something into my Bitmoji classroom area and resize it to see how it's going to work, or put two side by side. That one is not a good option. And with Google Drawing, you can actually select several at a time. So I may put in a few and just see kind of what looks best. You want to pick something obviously that you like and that's not the same as everybody else. And it seems like every time I search in Google Images, I kind of get a different set of options. I'll go with this one because it stretches to fill the background. Okay, Google Drawing does have a built-in cropping feature, so if I drop this image in just to kind of show you how that works, and I double click on it, I get black lines in the corners and along the top and bottom that I can grab instead of the blue anchors. So you kind of hover over it and you are able to crop an image either direction. So I can make it kind of closer in proportion, and when I hit the enter key, it changes it. So that can help reuse some of these. This graphic is still not super ideal for my background. So I anticipate what will take you the very longest is choosing the background that you like. Everything else is pretty easy. So now you'll probably want to pull your Bitmoji in so that you can decide what furniture is going to fit that the best. So I will click my Chrome extensions icon and launch the free Bitmoji Chrome extension. Now you can search for a specific pose like sitting and you'll get a couple of those. Or if you type in just the word pose, you'll see kind of all these different poses, which may inspire you. Like, maybe you'll use this one and you're sitting on a beanbag, or maybe you want to be standing, pointing at a whiteboard. I think I will keep my Bitmoji sitting. So I'm going to type in the word sit. This one is the closest one, so I'm going to go with that. And when I click on it, it reminds me you need to right click, and I can just copy and paste. So I'll click copy image and then I'll paste it. So now I want to put a couch or a beanbag or something that I'm sitting on. So you just kind of go back to that Google image search option, clicking the image icon, searching the web. Now, when you search, I just want you to put the word transparent in front of each object you're looking for. Now, if I put in transparent couch, I get a lot of these. I think this is the one I ended up going with. You can, again, pick whatever one you like. If you add words like clip art or cartoon to your search, you will specifically get clip art and cartoon. I think it's fine to mix real and fake looking elements. So I'll go ahead and choose this one. And occasionally, I've clicked on it to pick it. If I double click it, it'll just pop in, or I can single click and click insert. Sometimes, even when you search for transparent, they really lie and they're not really transparent, and they come in with a white background. If that's the case, just delete that one, pick a different couch. So I'm going to just try and get the couch sitting normally on the floor, as normally as I can get it to go. That's about as good as it's going to get. I'll put a plant or something here to hide the fact that it's not sitting on the floor. Or I'll use my dog for that. A couple of things I need to show you how to do, because right now I am behind the couch because I put my Bitmoji in first. Click on an item in Google Drawing, right click on it, go to the order options, and you can send it all the way to the back or just back kind of one layer. I'll click send to back, and now it's behind my background. So if that happens to you, you can just either Control Z and send it back one layer at a time, or you can send your background back to the background. So I'll just send it backward, which is going to put it backwards one layer. And now, hey, look, I'm on the right layer, but I'm not sitting the correct direction on the couch. So another thing you can do in Google Drawing is right click on anything, and there's a rotate. So you can flip things horizontally and vertically. So, if something was upside down, you can flip it. I'm going to flip it horizontal, and there I am sitting on the couch. That'll work. Now the rest of it is just adding whatever elements you want. So you want to include your personality. I think I'll put maybe a little table here or some plants, whatever you want to do. You're just going to search the web. Instead of transparent couch, you might say transparent table. This is messy here, but don't worry, I'll fix that. So in my actual Bitmoji classroom drawing, I put in a transparent cup of coffee because I love coffee. I put in a bookcase. I put in a flower pot, and I put in my dog. And a whiteboard. I'll do that one. I did try to find a clip art dog that kind of looked like mine, but I couldn't find one. And it became an issue for me because it was important to include her in this. So if you are like me, what I had her do is just lay down in the hallway outside my office, and I took a picture of her with my phone. And that's what it looked like. So how do you get the background out? That could take you forever in Photoshop. I just took this picture of her. You need to get it saved somewhere on your computer. So, mine, I just sent it to Google Drive, and then from Google Drive, of course, you can download it. You just need to get it on a computer, however you want to do this. And if you don't care about getting your dog in, and a clip art dog is fine, it'll save you a little bit of time. But I wanted Remy in the photos. So I took her picture, saved it to my computer, and then one of my very favorite little tech tools is remove background. Remove.bg. Remove.bg does a great job of removing a background. So I'm just going to upload that image of Remy. There it is. And it's removing the background. It'll give you a preview of what it looks like. Magic. Look at that. So that looks fabulous. It did a wonderful job, and I didn't even take a very good picture. So now I can either download it or download high resolution. I wonder if it's going to make me pay for that. 500 pixels is plenty big. I don't need 4,000 pixels. I could make a gigantic poster with that. So I click download, and I could just call this Remy Transparent. Just remember where you are saving it. I'll save it in the downloads folder so that you can find it. Because unlike the search for the web option, we're going to need to use, when we go to our image tab where it says insert image, we're going to upload this one because Remy does not live on the web. Not yet. So there we go. Remy Transparent. Put her in here. This little rotation icon at the very top of the toolbar kind of allows me to spin the angle a little bit, and I can shrink her down so she's more appropriate doggy size. Although with, Bitmoji classrooms, your head is certainly not actual size, so your dog could be bigger or smaller, however you want to call attention to your puppy or pet of choice. Remy also has some dark coloring, so if you click on any image in Google, any of these elements that are picture elements in Google Drawing, I can click on the format options and I can recolor things and make some adjustments. I could make the dog transparent, but I would like to just brighten her up a little bit so that you can see her cutesy little features. I do want to add in a whiteboard so I can show you how to add in some links. And you can resize this whiteboard to be as big or small as you want. So I made mine pretty large so I could put in a lot of information and it would still be visible for students. So I just made it kind of long and skinny, and my plant ended up over here. So this is my whiteboard and I want to put some text on it. So I'm going to use the text box tool and draw a little text box. And this is where I wrote welcome. Now, I don't like that font, and if you don't like that font, just highlight it. I like, in terms of handwriting fonts, one called Bad Script. So if you don't see it in your Google, you just click More Fonts and search for Bad Script. It's one of the ones I like. I have a hard time finding a good scripty font that's readable. So I kind of like this one. At least I like it today. Get that situated wherever you like on the board. And I added my links in a separate text box just so I had a little bit more control to arrange them without affecting the title. For me personally, I don't see updating a Bitmoji classroom over and over again as something I want to do, but on your whiteboard in Google Drawing, you can add different links and those will automatically update if you're embedding this in Schoology like I did. And again, Google Classroom users, any of these links are going to be inactive if you're going to use this for your classroom banner. So don't even bother to do this. Just put something cute on the whiteboard if you're even going to do that. But if you're using Google Drawing, you can actually make any of the items in your drawing clickable. So if I click on my dog, I can click this hyperlink icon and I can hyperlink her to something. I can pull in a book and hyperlink it to maybe our online edition. And I can just kind of add this to my Google Drawing when it's relevant. So when you are ready to put this into Google Classroom or Schoology, here's what you'll do. If it's going into Schoology and you want it to be something that'll live update as you add in new props, make sure you first share this. Anyone with the link can view. If you are going to use this for a Google Classroom header, you could just do File, Download. PNG or JPEG will both work. When you update your classroom banner, it will take either of those formats. Okay, so I pretty much have it ready to go. Let me pop into Schoology to show you what you can do with it. So I have kind of a demo class going here. I put mine right at the top. You'll just click the green plus and make page. The reason why we're using a page is because it's got this option down at the bottom to like expand it. It says display on new page. Now it says display inline. Basically, it just means kids do not need to click on it to view this information. Pages do have to have a title, which is kind of a bummer because I feel like this one doesn't need one, but you could say welcome and information, welcome and announcements, whatever you want to say. And then I'm going to drop my Google Drawing in here. So I'll just put my mouse where this goes. It's almost perfect. You do have to customize a little bit. Head over to, in the Insert Content button, Google Drive Resource app, search for your item. It's probably going to be right at the top because you just used it. Use the gear icon or put a check mark by it and choose Import Embed. Make sure you embed it. For some reason, all of the images come in with their standard Google Drawing dimensions, like a Google slide. So I want to delete this empty space. I put my cursor there and hit the delete button. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. Of course, I came in a couple of times till I got it just right. Actually, I think I came in here and made it 800 wide, and it keeps the proportions the same. So I'll type in 800 and see if that does it. Clicking insert. When you want to adjust the image by its pixels, you click on it once and then choose this little icon here. So this was a little bit of trial and error. I'm going to click create to see how it's looking. Okay, so welcome and announcements actually looks exactly like the other. So I did make it 800 pixels wide. You can make it wider, but that seems to be pretty good. And when I hover over the links, notice it is totally an active link. So if I did link Remy to an article about dogs, if I hovered over her, my mouse would turn into that pointer. So you can have some fun with that. If you want, you can still add more information to this page. So you can see below the real one, I have like announcements and timely info. So this is kind of turning into not just important links for the class, but I can also post some announcements here if you care to do that. And of course, with the page tool, you can customize the text to make it much larger and more noticeable. Save your changes. There you go. And because we have this page popped out, no one needs to click on it when they come in here. So that's how you can create a little Bitmoji classroom / banner. Again, anytime you make any changes in here, you don't need to go back into Schoology to redo anything. I'm just going to refresh my page, but the next time a student comes in, ta-da! If you have any trouble setting up your Bitmoji classroom, which obviously is completely optional, let me know.